Hello, and welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me as I explore the wide world of pens, inks, occasionally paper. This video is about ink. And I'm not an ink guy, so we're going to just see what I like and enjoy about these three inks that I recently received. As you can see, I've opened the bottles, but this is the mini collection by Colorverse. Always interesting that there's a caution label. You know, nice little identifier there, and it's made in Korea. So these just slide out, and I have to say that they are very, very cute. Not something I think I would say about a lot of inks, but these definitely apply. And they were sealed, so we'll open up one. And we'll see a really, really cute, really, really tiny bottle. 5 milliliters. And you may say that doesn't look like it's a bottle that I could use to fill from a pen, and they know that. So they include a little pipette, which should fit inside of any converter or cartridge, depending upon the final destination of this ink, or if you had an eyedropper, it would also work. And I have eyedroppers that take 5 milliliters, so they could take the entire bottle. Inside was this nice little card. The packaging is, I think everybody's talked about, is extremely well done. You flip it over and you'll see the great variety of colors that are in the mini collection. I bought it on Amazon. It got delivered relatively quickly. Here's the Amazon listing. Yeah, these are all by number. But again, just a very nicely done scenario, and you can see inside of this box is also those colors if you wanted to disassemble this box. So how did I do my ink testing? I used this amazing little tiny French pen, which fit inside of the bottle, so I was able to dip it in and do my testing. So as you know, the first thing I'm going to do is some color cards and some chromatography. In no particular order, here is Sea of Tranquility, definitely in the green family. I just put the bottle here to put a blob of ink down just to see if I got any sheen, and I didn't. And if we look at the chromatography, we'll see there seems to be some water resistance. It looks like an iron gall there. But what pushes up is just kind of a pale yellow, a little line of green, and then a dark line, well, relatively dark line of blue at the very top. So that's Sea of Tranquility. Next is Redwood Forest. Again in the green family, but now a darker green. Again, I don't see any sheen there. If we look at the chromatography, we'll see some very interesting colors. Again, a little bit of water resistance there at the bottom. And as it pushes up, it's kind of green. And then it goes to like a dark gray, a slight bit of yellow, and then some interesting blue. So a very different combination of colors to make Redwood Forest. Now we're going to come to Vortex Motion. There might be a little bit of sheen there. Kind of hard to really tell. This is definitely the most saturated ink of the group. And if we look at the chromatography, it is certainly interesting. It's red and blue, which makes it for a very, very dark purple. So now let's look at some writing on Tomoe River paper. So here I've taken the 3 inks and used my vintage mini French fountain pen to lay down some ink on this Tomoe River paper. And as we expected from the colored cards and the chromatography, vortex motion is definitely the more saturated of the inks. In fact, I would call it a very saturated ink. One thing all these 3 inks have in common is the flow is great. I think consistency is good. Redwood Forest is the middle ink here in this group. And it's middle because it has the middle amount of saturation. It still looks good coming out of the pen onto paper. And then we have Sea of Tranquility, which is very, very light when you look at the smear here, but when you look at how that comes down on the nib, it still looks pretty good. So one thing that I noticed in these writings is there's kind of like a matte finish to the Colorverse ink. It's just kind of an interesting, when it dries, it looks pretty nice. So this was just a short view of these 3 inks. And why did I buy them? Because I got 3 different colors of Colorverse ink for $20 delivered. So that to me was worth it to give it a shot. I've only used one other Colorverse ink, which I like quite a bit. It was a sample. And for some reason, I just haven't felt compelled to buy a whole set. You know, there's a lot of packaging and bottles and a lot of costs associated with these inks that kind of reduce the amount of ink that you get. And I'm kind of a Noodler's guy, and getting a bottle of Noodler's ink, which is filled all to the top for around $12 to $13, is certainly a good buy, and there's enough ink there to last you for a long time. But one must explore, one must expand, and one must try different things. So I've tried the Colorverse inks, and I do like these. Hopefully I'll be figuring out some pens that I want to use in my future reviews, and you can see how these will work in a pen. We've come to the conclusion of this video. Thank you very much for watching. And there was no real live writing, but hopefully you get an appreciation of these ink colors, and if it's one that appeals to you, go for it. So this is the end. I hope this video finds you safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, enjoying your inks, whether you have one or more than one, like some of us do. Put some ink on paper, see how great it looks. We're going to say bye until the next video.